For this video, I'm going to be doing the weekly forecast for next week. Next week, I'm going to have two scenarios going in, and I am going to let the price play out on Monday and Tuesday to see, or even Wednesday, to see what is price wants to gravitate. Which levels does the price wants to gravitate to? Is it the highs or is it the lows? In my personal opinion, I think that we are going to trade into the weekly fair value gap, which is what I have annotated right here. And then we are going to reverse higher. Preferably, we trade lower from Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday. And we have an SMT on the lows between Wednesday and Thursday before the reversal to higher prices. Leadership in bullishness would be on ES. As you can see on this fair value gap right here. Compare it against NQ with the same fair value gap. You would roughly get the idea that why I think ES is way more bullish than NQ. So I am expecting ES to make a higher high and NQ to make a lower, I'm expecting ES to make a higher low and NQ to make a lower low. TLDR, this is what I'm expecting. The low here is what I will be focusing for next week, and this is what I would like to trade. Overall, on the higher time frames, we are still bullish. And this is what I would totally prefer. In the case whereby we trade higher first, I would take a short into the weekly fair value gap. So it all depends on what the first half of the week is going to do. Because for next week, the news drivers are as follows. Tuesday, we have one rate impact news driver at 10 o'clock. Thursday and Friday, we have news impact at 8:30 and 10 o'clock for both days. Monday and Wednesday, no news. Therefore, I am thinking that the first half, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's going to be a one directional move, and then we are going to get a reversal on Thursday and Friday. So I am not fixed to what I forecast on the weekends, because you have to let the price play out and you can't just force your will on it. Okay, so if price decides to take the high first, then I will look to short into the weekly fair value gap. If price decides to trade into the weekly fair value gap first, then I would look for SMT on the lows to trade into new all-time highs, previous week's high basically. So I'm going to just sit and wait, and there is a very high likelihood that price could consolidate, which means price just trades into the weekly fair value gap but somehow retraces but not reverse entirely. That could happen because we are in Q4 of the month. We have range expansion, not range expansion, but we have an expansion profile since the start of the month. So it's very likely that in Q4 we are going to have some sort of consolidations. My expectations are not very high. Right, so moving forward, next week, my preferred scenario will be lower first and higher / consolidation. I don't think price is going to trade higher first and then lower because of this candle right here. NQ was not able to close above 50% of this fair value gap even after trading all the way to the gap's low. It has even formed a bearish fair value gap right here. This is on a daily time frame. For ES, it has traded all the way down here into the 50% but unable to close above the fair value gap. So this is what this is how I use fair value gaps to gauge strength and to determine the next or the underlying move that is about to take place. I'm not sure if I put it correctly, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. Okay, and with this, that should conclude the weekly forecast for next week. We'll have to see what Monday and Tuesday presents, and then I can have a clearer picture, because right now we can either go higher first and lower, and it can either or it can go lower first and then higher. It's not like a one directional move. So in a case whereby there's something like this right here, this is obviously a one directional move, a one directional analysis, right? Because SMT on the lows here, this low versus this low, and this low versus this low, and price has closed above this consecutive down close candles for NQ and this consecutive down close candles for ES. So any retracements are to be considered a buying opportunity. Okay, retracements into this down close candles as your order block. As you can see here, right to the 75%. On ES is maybe not that clear because it's a higher low, right? Not even hitting the 50%. So in bullish scenarios, you don't want to see the 50% met or attacked, and if it does attack the 50%, you want to see it reject aggressively and start to spool higher. Okay, which is not what we are having on the daily time frame. Right here as well, low, lower low, low, higher low, closing above the order block that made the SMT, right? Didn't even retrace into this particular order block, but we have a fair value gap right here. This is the type of reaction that you want to see. This is on the daily time frame, similar to what we are having right now. And on NQ, the order block that caused the SMT trades back all the way into the order block and rejects higher. If you want to use the fair value gap, 25%, and then higher. Okay, and yep, that's it. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll talk to you again whenever I feel like it. Okay, and I'll see you again.